All right, let's dive in. Today we're talking Dakota Ditcheva.
Ooh, an excellent choice.
I've got a whole mountain of articles and notes here about her career.
Really quite a fascinating story.
And honestly, it's just incredible. Like, even if you've never seen a single MMA fight,
Right.
you're going to be hooked on this one.
This is more than just like, your typical fighter bio.
Exactly.
This is about challenging stereotypes.
Yeah.
Overcoming some serious adversity.
Mm-hmm.
It's really an inspiring story.
And it all starts, you wouldn't think,
Mm-hmm.
like gritty Manchester streets,
Right, not exactly where you picture.
Yeah. Not exactly the breeding ground for like a global MMA star.
No, not the Vegas Strip.
But that's what makes it so interesting, right? Like,
Absolutely, yeah.
humble beginnings, raised by a single mom.
And get this, her mom was a Muay Thai world champion.
So fighting is like literally in her blood.
Yeah, talk about strong female role models.
Right, from the start.
From day one.
But you mentioned some hurdles, though, and I'm seeing, like in these sources,
Oh, yeah.
that her childhood wasn't exactly a walk in the park.
No, it was not.
What kind of challenges did she face growing up?
Well, I mean, imagine just growing up in Manchester, right?
Yeah.
Maybe facing some tough times financially.
Okay.
And on top of that, being bullied as a kid.
Oh, wow.
So, it's hard enough just navigating those teenage years as is.
Right.
But with those added layers of adversity, it's really impressive.
Yeah.
To see how resilient she's become.
Makes you wonder if, like, martial arts was her escape.
Oh, absolutely.
A way to channel all that.
I think for her it was
Frustrating.
It was more than just learning how to fight.
Right.
It was about finding an outlet.
Yeah.
Build confidence and strength.
Yeah.
Both physically and mentally. And that's really where you see her amateur career just explode.
Oh, yeah. We're talking like a 15-0 record here.
Multiple world titles.
Muay Thai?
Kickbox.
But it wasn't just, racking up the wins.
So it was her style.
So what set her apart back then?
Even as an amateur,
Mm-hmm.
she had this really unique combination of power and precision.
Okay.
You just don't see that at that level.
Gotcha.
And if you look at the sources, describing her early fights,
Mm-hmm.
the way she would just dismantle her opponents, these devastating kicks and punches.
She was born to be a fighter, it sounds like.
It really seems that way.
And then she transitions to pro MMA.
Keeps that undefeated streak going.
8-0.
8-0.
And that
Boom.
recent knockout,
Brutal.
I watched the replay.
Yeah.
Her opponent didn't even know what hit her.
It's that knockout power that has everyone excited
Yeah.
about her potential. But
Yeah.
it's also fueling some of the controversies.
Right. Success often comes with scrutiny.
It's interesting how that works.
Okay, so let's talk about those controversies.
Mm-hmm.
One that keeps popping up is her weight cutting.
Ah, yeah.
Some are saying it's too extreme,
Yeah.
potentially dangerous, even...
Right. If
Yeah.
that's a valid concern, especially in a sport as physically demanding as MMA.
Yeah.
But it's also complex, on the one hand.
Mm.
You have folks questioning the methods, the potential long-term risks.
Yeah.
But then on the other hand, you have Ditcheva and her team defending those practices.
Right.
Saying it's safe, it's all supervised by pros
Okay.
within the regulations.
So it's kind of a gray area.
It is.
I'm curious, when you look at the sources about her weight cutting practices,
Yeah.
do you think there's a legitimate concern there? Or
Yeah,
is this just kind of...
It's a bit of both.
Okay.
I mean, there's always going to be scrutiny around weight cutting,
Right.
especially for women.
Yeah.
But in her case, the intensity of her methods has definitely raised some eyebrows.
Okay.
And she's been very vocal about it, which I think just adds another layer to the controversy.
She's not shying away from it,
Not at all. She's addressing it head on.
which I kind of admire.
Yeah.
But it seems like there's another layer to the criticism. Something about her social media presence being a distraction.
Wow, the classic argument.
Right.
Is she too focused on building her brand
Yeah.
and not enough on, say, honing her grappling skills?
Okay.
Which, let's be honest, is an area where she's had to work hard.
I see that coming up in these articles a lot.
Yeah.
People questioning if that striking heavy style will hold up.
Against more well-rounded fighters
Yeah.
as she moves up.
Right. Right.
It's a valid point,
Okay.
and it's one she herself has acknowledged.
Really?
Yeah, one source I have quotes her saying, "I know I need to become more well-rounded,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm not going to abandon what got me here. My striking is my strength, and I'm going to keep working to make it even better."
I get that she needs to be more well-rounded,
Yeah.
but I wonder if, like, in some ways it plays into this idea that female fighters have to conform to a certain style.
Oh, interesting.
And maybe there's something really powerful about her just leaning into her strengths as a striker.
That's an interesting perspective, yeah.
Like owning that part of her game.
It raises a bigger question then.
Yeah.
About how we define success in women's MMA.
Right.
Is it about conforming to these traditional standards? Or is it about forging your own path and defying those expectations?
And it seems like she's leaning towards the latter.
She is. And that defiance has really been tested.
We see it in how she's dealt with the setbacks.
Like that hand injury in 2021.
That could have derailed her whole career.
Oh, absolutely. That was a pivotal moment.
But she didn't let it define her.
No, she used it as an opportunity to grow.
Wow.
Focused on physical therapy,
Uh-huh.
honed her mental game, and she came back even stronger.
It's amazing, that grit.
It's what separates the champions from the contenders.
Right.
But let's not forget, when she transitioned from Muay Thai to MMA,
Right.
grappling was a serious hurdle for her.
It's a whole different ballgame.
Totally, yeah. Muay Thai is all about the stand-up striking.
Yeah.
Whereas MMA incorporates the takedowns, the ground fighting, submissions.
Right.
It's much more complex. It's a much more demanding style.
So how does she bridge that gap?
Well, she basically dove headfirst into training
Wow.
with some of the best grapplers in the world.
Okay.
Hours drilling techniques, getting thrown around,
Right.
learning to defend herself on the ground.
And this wasn't just about learning the moves.
Right.
It was about pushing herself outside her comfort zone, like
Absolutely.
confronting a weakness head on.
It takes a special kind of courage to do that.
It does, and it's got everyone buzzing about her future.
I mean, she have aspirations to compete in the UFC,
Right.
but there's also that potential title shot in the PFL right around the corner.
It's like she's standing at a crossroads.
She is.
Does she stay the course in the PFL?
Right.
Solidify her legacy there, or does she take that leap of faith?
And chase the UFC dream.
It's a fascinating dilemma.
It is. And it's one we'll delve into much deeper
Okay.
in the next part of our deep dive.
All right.
But before we move on, I want to touch on one more aspect of her story that I think is incredibly inspiring.
Oh, you mean her impact outside the octagon? Like
It's,
her work as a role model and advocate.
We've talked about the controversies, the challenges, the training,
Right.
but it's important to remember that she's also using her platform to empower young athletes, especially women,
Okay.
to inspire positive change within and also beyond the world of MMA.
And that's what we'll be unpacking in part 2
We will.
of our deep dive.
Yes.
We'll explore how Ditcheva is using her voice and influence to make a real difference.
It's really quite amazing.
And how her journey is inspiring a whole new generation of fighters
Absolutely.
to chase their dreams. Stay tuned.
So before we jumped into part 2,
Mm-hmm.
we were talking about this crossroads that she's at.
Yeah, it's a really interesting point in her career.
PFL title shot, UFC dreams.
A lot of options on the table.
What a position to be in, but also so much pressure, right?
Oh, yeah.
How do you navigate all of that while still staying true to yourself?
Huh.
That's the challenge, isn't it?
To everything she's worked for.
Yeah. The sources you sent really highlight
Yeah.
how she's chosen to approach this.
Mm-hmm.
It's a real tightrope walk.
So, like, with the weight cutting controversy,
Oh, yeah.
she's decided to be, like, super transparent about the whole thing.
I think that's smart.
It's not just her team defending her, right? She's out there.
She's addressing it head on.
explaining it.
The science behind it.
Talking about the supervision.
The medical professionals involved.
It's like, I'm taking every precaution. I understand the risks, but this is what works for me.
Exactly. But then there's the other side of that coin.
Right. The social media stuff.
The brand building.
Is it a distraction?
I think it's more nuanced than just calling it a distraction.
Okay.
She's a really savvy businesswoman.
Yeah.
I mean, she understands the power of a personal brand.
Right.
Especially in MMA.
Yeah.
Where so much depends on your visibility,
Mm-hmm.
engaging the fans.
It's smart, right?
And let's not forget, the financial incentives in the UFC are a whole other level.
That's true.
A strong brand means bigger sponsors,
Yeah.
more lucrative fight contracts.
She's playing the long game.
It seems that way.
But it does kind of make you think about, like, what it means to be a pro athlete today.
Right. It's not enough to just be great at your sport anymore.
Exactly. You have to be.
You've got to be a marketer,
Yeah.
a social media guru.
A savvy negotiator.
It's a whole different world.
But let's get back to her fighting.
The heart of it all.
Because we did talk about, those critiques of her style.
Oh, yeah.
Whether or not that striking heavy approach is good.
It will hold up against the top grapplers.
Right, right.
But she's not backing down from that.
No, there's this quote that I love.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
says, "I'm evolving, not abandoning."
Ooh, I like that.
Like, yes, I need to get better at grappling, but I'm not going to just abandon.
What makes her unique.
Exactly. What got her to this point.
As finding that balance.
Right.
And honestly, it's just fascinating to watch her navigate all of that.
It is.
She's working with some of the best grappling coaches out there.
I saw some footage online. It is intense. You can just see like the focus, the drive to get better, to push past her limits.
It's inspiring stuff.
But it's not just the physical training, right?
No, not at all.
I mean, she's really invested in the mental side of the sport, too.
Absolutely.
One article talked about how she does like meditation,
visualization techniques,
all these tools to stay calm, to be mentally tough under pressure.
It's like building an arsenal, right?
Yeah.
Not just physical weapons, but mental ones, too.
I'm picturing her in the octagon facing an opponent.
Yeah.
And it's like she's already won the fight in her mind.
That's the power of mental training.
And it's something she's been doing since she was a kid, right?
That's right.
There's that anecdote about her drawing pictures of herself holding championship belts.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
Like she was visualizing success way back then. So we've talked about the mindset, the training, the controversies, but this level of performance requires like a crazy level of dedication.
Absolutely.
What does her daily routine even look like?
So picture this. She's up before the sun, already at the gym,
Wow.
working on her striking, those lightning-fast kicks and punches.
Nah.
Then it's strength and conditioning, agility drills,
Yeah.
all designed to build that explosive power.
And the endurance.
And I bet it doesn't stop there.
No, I'm picturing a whole team of experts.
Oh, yeah, she's got a whole support system.
Nutritionists.
Making sure she's getting the right fuel.
Physical therapists.
Absolutely, recovery is just as important as the training itself.
Maybe even a sports psychologist.
It's a 247 commitment.
But it's got to be about balance too, right?
That's the key.
Pushing to the limit without burning out.
It seems like she's found that sweet spot.
Mm-hmm.
She's even incorporated things like yoga and Pilates into her routine.
Oh, wow.
Focusing on flexibility.
Smart.
Injury prevention.
So, back to those big decisions. The PFL title shot versus the UFC dream.
Yeah, what factors do you think are going to weigh heavily on her?
Well, the PFL is familiar, right?
She's proven herself there.
A title shot seems like it's going to happen.
They've done a great job promoting her, building her brand.
But the UFC is the big leagues.
It's where legends are made.
Right. And the money is undeniable.
Oh, yeah. A UFC contract would mean a whole new level of financial security.
Sponsorships.
Global recognition.
But way more competition.
The talent pool is so deep in the UAC.
Yeah, no guarantees.
No guarantees at all.
It's a gamble.
It is.
But it's also like the ultimate test, right?
It is, to see how she stacks up against the very best.
To cement her legacy.
Exactly.
I read this quote where she said, "I'm not afraid of a challenge.
Oh, nice.
I'm not afraid to step outside my comfort zone. That's where growth happens."
I love that attitude.
And that's what makes her story so compelling.
Really is.
She's not just a fighter, she's a trailblazer.
Breaking down barriers.
Rewriting the rules.
Defying expectations.
Paving the way for other women.
Absolutely.
But it's bigger than what she's doing in the cage.
It really is.
It's about the impact she's having outside of it as well.
And that's what we'll explore in the final part of our deep dive.
We will.
We're going to delve into her work as a role model.
Yeah.
Her advocacy for women in sports. Her efforts to inspire the next generation.
It's powerful stuff.
It really is.
Stay with us. We're back for the final round of our Dakota Ditcheva deep dive.
And ready to unpack this last piece of the puzzle.
You know, it's funny, like going through all this material, you realize she's more than just a fighter.
Oh, absolutely.
She's a symbol.
An inspiration.
Yeah, and we've seen her journey, right? From those tough Manchester streets to like almost MMA stardom.
Right on the edge of it.
But now I'm really curious about her impact outside of the cage.
Well, it's remarkable, actually, how she's using her platform to champion some really important causes.
Okay.
I mean, it goes beyond just being a role model for young athletes, although that's a huge part of it.
Right.
But she's also actively involved in organizations that support women.
Okay.
Promote gender equality.
Yeah.
Combat bullying.
I read about this mentorship program that she's involved with.
Oh, yeah. Tell me about it.
Where she's working with, like, girls from underprivileged backgrounds.
Incredible.
Teaching them self-defense, but also, like, confidence.
Resilience.
Setting goals.
Like she's passing the torch.
Yeah, exactly.
Showing them that they, too, can break those barriers down.
And she's not afraid to speak out.
Not
against injustice.
There's a great quote from a recent interview.
Yeah.
where she says, I was bullied as a kid because I was different, because I loved fighting. Now I use that experience to show others that being different is a strength, not a weakness.
It's so powerful.
It really is.
She turned her pain into purpose.
And that resonates with people way beyond just, MMA fans.
Absolutely, because who hasn't faced adversity?
Right. We all have our own struggles.
Who hasn't been told they can't do something?
Exactly.
It's a reminder that,
you have the power.
We can overcome these things.
To write your own story.
And she's doing it all while being so true to herself.
Authentic.
Yeah, there's something about her,
You can tell she's not putting on an act.
Exactly. It's not a show, it's genuine.
She's just Dakota.
Yeah, the girl from Manchester who dared to dream big.
It's inspiring.
It is, and it makes you realize
Yeah.
Sometimes we put these athletes up on a pedestal.
Oh, yeah, they're superhuman.
But she's so relatable.
She
is open about her struggles.
Her insecurities
That's doubt.
makes her success that much more meaningful.
Because it shows that it's possible.
Even with all those challenges.
To still push forward and be great.
I think it's that vulnerability.
Yeah.
That willingness to be real that makes her such an impactful role model.
It's okay to not be perfect.
To make mistakes.
It's okay.
As long as you keep learning.
Keep fighting.
And growing.
That's a message that, goes beyond sports.
It's universal.
Absolutely anyone can relate to that.
It's been fantastic unpacking all of this with you.
It really has.
From the explosive fighting style to the, moments of reflection.
The quiet moments.
And the advocacy work.
She's a force.
Dakota Ditcheva is a force to be reckoned with.
This deep dive has been amazing.
It has.
And I'm so excited to see what she does next.
I think we've only just seen the beginning of what she's capable of.
We have links to all the sources we used in the show notes.
So definitely check those out.
If you want to learn more.
Yeah, go down the rabbit hole.
And let us know what you think.
We love hearing your takeaways.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.
And remember, just like Dakota,
you have the power to fight for what you believe in.
And create a better future.
Until next time.
Keep exploring.
Keep learning.
And keep diving deep.